Yo, 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 yo. Uh, I'm outside today, which is a bit of a change from the normal setup where I'd be in my room, sitting on my chair and stuff. I thought I need to get some fresh air. Um, I like to get fresh air on a daily basis. Let me not say daily, but most days, because some days I'll end up like sitting in the house and never going outside at all. So I always try my best on most days to get some fresh air. And I thought while I'm on my little stroll, I might as well sit down outside here and record a new video. So, what's up? I don't know if the camera quality will be good. Um, it doesn't look good on my like when I was seeing myself, I look kind of darkened, but you can tell that I'm outside. So that's all that matters. And you can see that I am a person that is talking. So it works. It works. Um, so today I don't know. I've been thinking about this for a while. It's something that I've been thinking about for like quite a few months, but um, I thought might as well talk about it on a video since, I'm always trying to come up with different ideas for videos. Um, I kind of want to talk about um our, I guess the loss of imagination in our world, the loss of creativity, the loss of wonder, childlike wonder, sense of freedom that we've seemed to lose in the modern world with this kind of lifestyle that we all tend to live, like we all live, basically. So it's like something I've been thinking about for like quite a while because it's something that's important to me. Like creativity and imagination is always important to me, specifically because I'm a guy who wants to have a career in creative spaces. So content creation, writing, making music, stuff like that. That's kind of like my niche. That's my forte, basically. That's what gives me the most passion in life. So it's like it's sad to see that most people nowadays don't have imagination at all, and it's it's really sad. I mean, we could talk about this from something as simple as kids just don't go outside anymore. Like when I was a kid, and when most of my friends, my peers were younger, we would go outside and play. Like my brother and I, we used to live in a complex when like we were both really like really small. Um, like when I was in primary school, like I used to live like a complex, so I would always go outside of my house after school. I'd come home, I'd eat, maybe watch a bit of TV, but then I'd go outside and I'd go play with my friends in the complex, you know what I'm saying? We'd ride our bikes, we'd ride scooters, we'd try to climb the trees, we'd jump off rocks. The complex wasn't that big, but there was a lot of like rocks and like trees and stuff like that. So we'd always try to make the most amount of fun that we could. And I feel like it's something that's missing a lot nowadays. Because when I think back to my best days, like my favorite days, like my most fond memories, I think back to those days of sitting outside, or like running around outside, playing with my friends, jumping off rocks, climbing the trees, all that stuff. That's the kind of stuff that I look back and I think, hey, like these were good times. I mean, it's it's really sad to me that you don't see that anymore. Every kid is inside nowadays. Like my mom's house, um, we stay in a complex there. Um, there are no kids outside. Well, sometimes they are, but it's very, very rare. Like it's very rare to see kids like actually going outside and like having like 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 in a like a group or like a posse of like your friends just going around playing outside. You'll see like really little kids going outside and like like to the park, let's just say, like something like that, right? But you don't see like a group of like 8, 9, 10 year olds, going outside and like just having fun with like their group of friends. It's not something that you see that I at least don't see that much anymore. And it's not like how it used to be when I was like around that age. And I think it's because we've gotten so like cooped up with technology that we've become so comfortable, just being on our iPads, watching our Netflix, our Showmax. Even like the 5, 6 year old that most of them are not going outside anymore. Like nowadays, it's not even a thing where like they're going outside and like having fun outside. No, no, no. Now they're inside, cooped up. They're watching like Coco Melon. Like the 5, 6 year olds, the 4 year olds, 3 year olds. They're all watching Coco Melon. You know what I'm saying? They're watching Coco Melon. They're watching Peppa Pig. All this stuff, right? They're just watching television. And teenagers nowadays are just mindlessly consuming content. And I'm not going to sit here and act like I am not guilty of this. I'm 100% guilty of doom scrolling, like mindlessly consuming content. I'm very much guilty of this 100%. I'm not going to sit here and lie and say that I'm not. But sorry. But I think it's it's not an issue that people don't take issue with it, basically, because we've gotten so used to it. Like it's just become a thing. Like the kids are inside, they're safe, you know, they have their iPads, they have their phones. Like there are like 7 year olds, 8 year olds, like there's 6, 7, 8 year olds with phones now, which to me is crazy because I got my first phone when I got my first iPad, like my first screen ever when I was like 10, and that was an iPad, right? It was literally just to play games. My grandmother got me and my brother the same identical iPad. It was a pretty small iPad too. Like it wasn't an iPad, sorry, a tablet, right? They were very much identical, and it was literally just to play games. And then I have like a messenger app just in case my parents need to message me or anything, right? But literally, it was just to play games. That was my first ever like screen, potentially. I got my first official phone when I was 13, I believe, and it was my mom's old iPhone 6, and I used that for like a good 2.5 years before it fell apart. I mean, the phone already was already awful. Like the battery would die out quickly. Like there'd be times where it would go from like 78% to like 13% in the space of like 5 minutes, and I'd be like, what the flip is going on with this phone? And then even though it would be charged to like 50%, it wouldn't turn on. But then I have to charge it, then it would be full, and then only would it turn. It was a very bad phone. Point is, I'm not gonna dwell too much on like old phones, but basically, I got my first phone when I was 13 years old. Kids nowadays are getting iPhones at 6 years old. That's flipping crazy to me. That's insane. Just think about that. Think about that. When do you think your parents got like their first phone? Like, let's be honest. My mom, she got her first phone after she graduated from what's this? From university, I'm pretty sure. My dad, first time he ever owned a cell phone, like a smart, like a cell phone, like a handheld cell phone, once he started working, I'm pretty sure. Like once he actually started working, like probably like a year or two before he met my mom is when he got his first phone. Like seriously, it's crazy. There's been such a big shift in our world in terms of technology that it's very difficult to like in terms of technology, like the shift has been absolutely insane. Like think about this. And something like an iPhone exists. Like think about an iPhone 16 or 15 existing like in the year 2000, right? Or even before that. People would like look at it and think of it's like alien technology or something, dude. That's flipping insane. We've progressed so far with technology that like, you see a new iPhone, it's like, oh, it's whatever. You know, it's not a big deal. And like nowadays, it's so confusing. just to think about stuff like this, you know. It's very, very, very weird. You don't like to imagine it, like in your head, things getting this bad. Like seriously, people's screen times. I remember my brother, we were just talking about like TikTok and like how much people are spending time on their screens. And I just asked him, like, I was curious. I was like, what's your screen time? And then he told me it was like he had to take a look at it obviously because he didn't remember, but basically it was something along the lines of like on a really like on a day where he's like not doing anything, where he's just like sitting at home, no events planned, nothing. Like he's just sitting at home. Like it's gone as high as like 12 hours. 12 hours, bro. And 9, 10 of those hours on TikTok. Like, dude, what are you guys doing on TikTok? I used to scroll on TikTok quite a lot, like mindlessly, obviously. Like it was just like scrolling, scrolling, scrolling. Whether it is content that I was interested in or just like girls, 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 whatever. I would be on there for a while, but for me, I never got to like the point where I was like scrolling for like 10 hours. Like I never got to that point. For me, it was always like 3 hours at most, and then I'd like get really tired. Like I would scroll for like 30 minutes, and then I'd realize I've been here for too long, then I get off, then I go back on for a little bit, then I get off, then I get back on for a little bit, then I get off. So it's like, I was never like the worst of the worst, basically. But still, it's still bad. So, um, so I think the reason why I'm talking about technology specifically and like everything that's been brought everything that negative that has come from it's like progressing so far is because nowadays people don't don't think for themselves. We don't use our imagination. We're not creative. It's the reason why like nowadays everybody's just like, oh, I want my essay to be written for me. So I'll just go to ChatGPT and then I'll use like a humanizing AI to like bypass like any AI detectives from the school, and then bam, I got myself an essay. Like all that work that you put in to get an AI written essay, you could have just done the work yourself. Like I'm not gonna be one to sit here and say that like, oh, AI is the worst, it's damaging to us, you should never use it, because I use AI first of all. Not as often. I don't use AI as often like at the moment, but I know in the future I'm going to be using it more and more. So I'm not denying that at all, 100%. And I'm also not saying that you should never use AI, because AI can be very useful and very powerful. But I feel like it's gotten to a point where um, people are just using it for like the stupidest things. Like if you are one of those content creators who like does like clip farm, like the clip farming stuff, like that stuff that I've seen them blow up on like Instagram and like social media, like the clip farming stuff, where you like take the clips, you like put into AI, you create like shorts and stuff. That that's fine to me because you're actually creating content. Yes, you're going about it in a pretty lazy, sleazy way, whatever. But the point is, you're making money, you're generating profit, you're making an income. So I don't mind that. That's those faceless YouTube channels that make tens and thousands of dollars, supposedly. I'm all for that because you're making content at the end of the day. You're being productive and you're doing your best to make money. So I can respect it. But people who just like use ChatGPT to get by in school and everything, like school as a whole, I've always said the school is not a place for creativity and imagination. It's a place for active recall and redundancy. It's a very washed and tired system that's been going on for like 150, 200 plus years now. It's very much outdated, and it has nothing to do with imagination, creativity. All they want to do is to create workers. That's literally all school does. School doesn't create entrepreneurs, it creates like workers, right? So School is already taking away your creativity. Being in school, just being in school is already taking away your creativity. It's already taken away like your imagination, like your sense of wonder, your sense of curiosity. It's already taken all that away. Now you want to use AI to double down to do all the work for you. The one time that you're able to like write a creative essay in English, for example, about something that you like, something you're passionate about, a topic that you're actually passionate about. Now you want to use AI to write your essay for you. Why? You're for once you're actually given an opportunity to be creative. They're asking you to write a descriptive essay or like a narrative essay about some a topic that you're actually passionate about. Been given an opportunity to actually be creative for once, and instead you've wasted it. For what? Just you just want to use AI now because it's too tiring, it's too hard. School has drained so much of your brain, so much of your creative intelligence. It's drained. It's absolutely exhausted so much of it. And now you're further exhausting that part of your brain by letting AI do all the work for you. It's really sad, honestly. It's very, very sad. I mean, if you want to get into a really dirty like topic now, imagination, it's gone as far as even with like I hate to say this with masturbation even like we're going into a bit of a dirty, disgusting topic, but like even with masturbation, people don't like masturbate using the imagination anymore. Like your brain is so fried that you can't even think of something to get hard to. You need to go to another source to get hard. Think about that for a second. Just think about that. That's insane. Like, and this is not me condoning masturbation or anything like that, but just compare a guy who uses porn all the time to masturbate to a guy who jacks off just to his like purely just imagination. Who do you think is going to feel like more guilty, more ashamed of themselves? Probably the guy who masturbated to pornography. The guy who masturbated to his imagination, he's gonna bust a nut and just gonna go out his day because he doesn't have a video open. He's not watching another dude getting plowed by a girl. Like he's not seeing any of that. He's literally just in his bed or in the toilet, wherever he is doing it, whatever, right? He's just sitting there. He's just sitting. He's jacking in. He's just in his head, in his mind space, his own mind space. He finishes. He goes about his day. The other guy, once he's finished, he closes the video, closes the tab, closes his laptop, and then he just lies awake in shame because he just saw a dude getting plowed by a girl and got hard to it. Like the one guy has an imagination and can actually think freely with his brain, and the other needed to watch two people screwing each other to get hard. So yeah, the lack of imagination in our world is gone. Like even to the like that more dirty type of environment. Like it's that bad. It's that bad. We need constant stimulation in order to keep our brains active. We can't think creatively on our own. We can't think, and this is very different to like needing inspiration to create something, right? Like if you're inspired by something, like I'm inspired by a lot of things. When I'm like making music, I'm inspired by a multitude of different producers. When I'm making like when I'm writing my script for my comic book, or I'm like creating like coming up with characters, doing world building, for example, I'm inspired by like Marvel and DC and all the writers that have done work there. um when I'm doing content, I'm inspired by different content creators on YouTube, social media, all these places. But there's a difference between being inspired by something, then going out and making your own thing using that inspiration, and just using something for short-term pleasure or just to keep your brain active. There's a big difference because one is taking something that they've seen or they've watched and making something and going out and producing something, making something, creating something, and the other is just using it to keep their brain alive, essentially. So the reason why this is so important is because The world needs more independent thinkers, I think. It needs more creative brains. It needs more like intellectual, like creatively intellectual minds. And we don't have that anymore. Like, okay, we don't, that's not true. We do have that, but we don't have as many as we would if we weren't so like distracted by everything in the world around us. Like this morning, I literally woke up and spent like I woke up at like 7:30 around there. I spent 2 hours. Like I hadn't gotten out of bed. I spent 2 hours doom scrolling. And I got like massive, massive urges. And after that 2 hours, I was just like, dude, I need to get up. I need to get up. Luckily, I didn't do anything. Obviously, I didn't do anything, any funny stuff, nothing like that, right? But like, I was in a comfortable space, doom scrolling, shutting off my mind, and just like mind aimlessly, consuming content. And I was just like, you know what, I need to get up now. I need to get up. And being out here recording this video, like, it feels so much more refreshing. Feels so much better because I'm using my creative intelligence making this video, like recording this video, talking about this topic right now. I'm outside, I'm in nature. My mind is stimulated not by an endless amount of content, but rather God's wonderful gift, which is life. I'm surrounded by the Lord's trees, all of the plants that He's created, the animals He's created, the birds, the sky. I'm just in the presence of the Lord. I'm in the presence of nature. And it feels so much more refreshing than just being inside in my bed with the curtains closed, just mindlessly consuming content on Instagram. It feels way better. So, it's just, it's difficult. It's difficult for me to like make this message because I know a lot of people will be quick to shut it down and be like, I mean, yeah, you've got a good point, but like at the same time, this, and this. Like there'll be people who will listen and people who will understand my message and will want to do better, and then there'll be people who just like don't care, right? And I just want to see more creativity in the world. I want to see people come up with more ideas. Like I've there's not a lot of people who will say like when you ask them what do you want to be when you grow up, there's not a lot of people who say writer anymore. Like I'm one of the first people. I think I'm the only person in my entire school, like my entire high school, like my entire grade, who's ever said I want to be like an author, like I want to be a writer, I want to write books, I want to write comic books, I want to create content. Like I am one of the very few, like I'm one of the very few people in this country, like who actually wants to go into a career field like that. Because everybody wants to be a lawyer, everyone wants to be a doctor, and I mean those are great careers. Those are very important careers. We need people who with those careers. But just as important are the creators, the inventors, the change makers, those guys, the entrepreneurs. We need more of those people in this world. And it's sad that most people have just been tuned off by that idea because let's be honest, like being a lawyer is difficult. Like getting to be a lawyer is difficult. Getting to be a doctor is difficult, right? But to me, it's so much harder to make it as an entrepreneur. It's so much harder to make it as a content creator. It's so much harder to make it as a writer because there's a lot more writing on these careers. The payout is very high if you're successful. Like I've always said, like if you're successful, like once you become a successful writer, once you like become a bestseller, you will make big bucks. Once you become um like really good at your craft when it comes to content creation, once you become monetized on YouTube, you start making money. You start making big, and then as you get bigger and bigger, you start making more and more money. Like it's hard to get into these careers. It's hard to become an entrepreneur, to create your own business, you know what I'm saying? It's very difficult, but the payout is so high. But people are worried about the risk. Because the risk is, even though the payout is extremely high, even though like the outcome, the financial wealth that you will gain from it is extremely high, the risk is also really freaking high. So, and I've always been somebody who's been willing to take the risk. Like there's many areas in my life where I'm not a risk taker. I always like to play it safe. But when it comes to my career, because I'm such a creative person, like I'm so imaginative and I have so many ideas that like run through my head 24/7, I've always wanted to be the one to take the risk. I want to take the risk. Even if I don't get it the first try, even if I only sell my first book by 30 years old, I'm willing to do it because I'm so passionate about it, because I love writing so much. I love writing. I love creating content. I love making music, like making beats and stuff. Like I like doing that. That's the stuff that I love to do. So I'm going to keep at it no matter what. It's a very difficult concept for people to understand because again, most people just want to have normal jobs, all this, and this. But I know that somewhere, at some point, this message is going to reach somebody who's actually inspired by this, and they're going to think for themselves. They're going to want to take action on this, and they're going to want to make something of themselves. They're going to want to use their creative intelligence to actually produce something, to be someone, to make a name for themselves in the world. And I think that that's so amazing. We need more people to come out and say they want to be writers. We need more people to come out and say they want to be entrepreneurs. We need more of those people because those are the people who are going to help revolutionize the world. Those are the guys with the ideas. We're going to come up with the cool, the latest products, the newest technology. They are the ones who are going to make something in this world. Equally as important as the lawyers, equally as important as the doctors. So when you're a kid and you're filled with like imagine like high sense of creativity, like a high level of creativity, and you have a lot of imagination, like full of imagination, you've got ideas buzzing through your mind as a kid. Do your best to keep it as you grow older. Just do your very best. I know not a lot of kids are like that nowadays. A lot of kids are brain dead because of all the content they consume and all the content that they watch. But our imagination, our sense of wonder, our sense of curiosity, our creativity, it shouldn't just peak in childhood. It should carry on. It should build. It should expand as we get older. And I think because the world is so watered down and because adulthood is so tough, this, and this, it's easy to become turned off to the idea of going into content creation, making a book, creating a story, something like that. But it's worth the risk, I think, for me at least. And if somebody's watching this and it's worth the risk for them, then take that risk. It might be difficult. Your parents might not like it, but put your faith in the Lord, put faith in yourself, and through the Lord you can do anything. If He's calling you to do this thing, if He's telling you that this is the purpose, this is what you are meant to do, then you better listen. Go out there and do it. I think that's the best way. So yeah, you've got a bit of a you got a bit of a knack for drawing. You like art. You like writing. You have a unique idea for a business that you think could take off. Go for it, man. Just flip and go for it. You don't have anything to lose. It's a big risk. You might lose money along the way, but I promise you, if you stick if you stick to it, thug it out, and you continue to keep going strong, you'll make something of yourself for sure. You're gonna be that success that you've always wanted to be. And yeah, I think that's gonna do it for today. Thank you, thank you for watching, wherever you are, and hope you have a wonderful day, afternoon, morning, evening, whatever time you're watching this. And I'll see y'all next week. Peace.